Hello and welcome to Bears Talk presented by J. Brown Realtor on this Thursday, September 14th. My name is Andy Losi and we start off with the head football coach here with Mike Jacobs. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey Andy, how are you?
Doing great, Coach, and you guys are feeling pretty good as well. A 24-10 win over Fayetteville State this past Saturday. How great is it to get through that first big road test?
Yeah, I think it's always good to try yourself on the road, right? And a weekend with some challenges. There's a bunch of weather delays across America. You probably saw that, and we were no different. I think we spent about 90 minutes in a lightning delay prior to the game starting. So, that presents a unique challenge, especially it happened after we had warmed up, and so we had to kind of get through that. But, to go on the road and get a 2-touchdown victory over a talented Fayetteville State team that I think's won their division of the CIAA the last 5 years. They won the conference outright last year. I think they're back-to-back NCAA playoff teams. So, that's a talented team that had a bunch of returning starters, and I thought we went over there and played pretty good football.
It's the first 2-0 start that your program has had since the 2020 or 2021 shortened season. That's got to be a really great feeling as well to get through non-conference play with these 2 wins underneath your belt.
Yeah, I think, what you see is it's allowing us to grow as a team, right? And we're looking for incremental improvements each week, and certainly some things that we did really well, some things that we did okay, and some things that we got to clean up. But our kids are progressing, and we've really practiced at a good clip, and I'm excited for this week's work leading into Erskine.
From week 1 to week 2, what do you think your team had the biggest jump in?
I think really just, again, our defense continues to play really sound football. And then I think in general from last season to this season, you're seeing significantly improved special teams play. And that's a credit to Coach Hornsby and Coach Figueroa, who are spearheading those units.
Speak about that defense. They stole the show in Fayetteville this last week. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. What is, a coach, your expectations for your defense? Because we've seen it 2 weeks now. You played 2 football games, only allowed 17 points. They really seem to already be in mid-season form before conference play even begins.
Sure. Well, it's not just for the defense. I mean, really what we're looking for all of our guys is to just be really sound fundamentally in what they're doing, running, blocking, tackling, and then to execute their assignment, right? Their alignment, their assignment, their task in any of the 3 phases at an elite level with tremendous focus. And I think our defense has done a really nice job. We get a bunch of starters. Really 10 of our 11 guys are back on that unit that have played significant football for us. There's a couple young guys that are in the mix, but that group has really played well.
Flipping over to the offense, Dwayne McGee makes his return to the lineup, goes for a team-high 89 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns as well. We talked last week about the running back room being a big part, but to get McGee back as well, how much do you think the running back room is going to be the X factor for your offense?
Sure. I mean, all great teams can control the line of scrimmage on offense and on defense. We've done a really good job of that both weeks defensively. I thought we were really good running the ball week 1. I thought we could have been better week 2, but we still did some good stuff. But Dwayne McGee's a guy that, again, was an All-American in 2021. He's ultra talented. He's done a nice job leading this year. He practices at a high level, and he's a guy that can go the distance on any play. So he adds an element of that for our program.
24-10 win against Fayetteville State, but a great start. Scored the first 24 points of the game. This is the second week in a row now that your team has gone into the half with at least a 3-possession score lead. What has your team done so well to prepare for these matchups to get these really strong starts?
Yeah, I think it starts just with their mindset and their preparedness as individuals, right, to get themselves ready to play. In both instances, these late games, there's a lot of time. We have the kids in the building as early as 9 a.m., right, and they're in and around as they wait out these 6 p.m. starts. And so to have that lag time and kind of that hurry up and wait, and then once they get to kickoff and to execute at a high level early in the game is a testament to their readiness. We do work some of that situationally in practice. We'll filter in and kind of spot in some team segments early on in practice where they got to go, good on good and kind of get their motor running before they're maybe warmed up or all the way through individual.
All right, conference play begins. Erskine comes into town, 6 p.m. How prepared do you think your team is to get going here for South Atlantic Conference play? You've seen 2 good games,
Sure.
and now these are the wins that are going to tell the story about chasing for a SAC title.
Yeah, and we can't even talk about that yet, right? Like we literally need to focus on Erskine and what it's going to take to beat a talented team and to play our best football in all 3 phases. I mean, that is the sole concentration on our preparation, or has been throughout the week, and really just want to play really good, sound, clean football in all 3 phases.
It is Youth Day against Erskine coming up, but after the game against Fayetteville State, you had a post-game tweet with your 2 boys
Sure.
celebrating the win. Going into the 4th year now here at LR, how have those 2 really helped inspire you here at the job?
Yeah, I mean, those my 2 sons, my wife, like they're my everything, right? The cliche of your why, like those 3 individuals are my biggest why, and I think that, you know, the thing that they've done more than anything is, you know, force me to reflect as a coach. When you're younger and single, you're a lot more hot-headed than when you are when you have your own kids, and you always want to put yourself in that parent's position and make sure that we're doing the right things while still holding the guys highly accountable. And to get to share in those, you know, we don't get to see them a lot. I spend more time or as much time with my team as I do with my own kids, and so to spend those few moments on the bus with them and have them ride home and just relax, whether they're watching cartoons on the iPad or whatever, is great. I think they do it just because they know they're getting Chick-fil-A or pizza on the bus, and they enjoy that as much as the time with Dad. But it's something really special for me, and I cherish it.
It sounds like a good deal for sure. So, folks, 6 p.m. kickoff here at Moret Stadium, Erskine and Lenoir-Rhyne. Beginning conference play. Coach, thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us
Andy.
here on Bears Talk. We'll be back with Katrina DeVore. Hello and welcome back to Bears Talk, presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are now joined alongside by Katrina DeVore, the Associate AD of Internal Operations. Katrina, thank you so much for joining us here today. So for those that may not know about United We Roar, what is it and why does it have such a massive impact on Lenoir-Rhyne athletics?
Yeah, so United We Roar is our annual diversity, equity, and inclusion campaign. And every year we pick a topic that impacts our student athletes that we can highlight just to create an inclusive environment and show support.
This year's initiative highlights the importance of mental wellness and breaking the stigma that is around mental health. As an athletic department, why do you believe that this is the message that the athletic department wants to focus on here in 2023?
Well, I think mental wellness is important for everyone, right? We all have life that gets crazy with work and families, and just knowing that that's a normal part of life and everyone is alongside of you having the same struggles, I think is important to help people. And I think it's also important to acknowledge that our student athletes are being asked to do a lot between school, performing on their respective field or court, and then, you know, navigating becoming an adult and figuring out life. So just giving them that support, that we're here for them, we have resources for them, and it's okay to not be okay.
We are looking, well, we're currently in right now, the United Reward campaign. We've already had some great events, the Mental Wellness Empowerment Day at both soccer matches and the cross-country meets. What are some other marquee events that we are looking forward to on the schedule this month?
Yeah, so we got a lot of really cool things. Last night we launched our puppy play date, which went really, really well. And based on the feedback, I think we're going to try to do more of those. Not only for the student athletes, but the staff really enjoyed just kind of getting out and being able to love on some sweet dogs. Every Wednesday for the rest of the month, we're going to do guided meditation in Nichols Hall. So it's a time for anyone to come out and just kind of take a break from life and get a fresh restart. We have the football game coming up this Saturday, which is going to be really cool to celebrate in Moretz with all of our community. And then we also have volleyball on the 22nd. We're going to do a yoga at baseball on the 28th at 8 p.m. So we're going to invite everybody to come out and just kind of hang out and have some fun.
That sounds awesome. Another one of those events is the webinar event that is coming up on September 18th right here at Moretz Stadium. What do you think this event means for the student athletes, the LR staff, and pretty much the Hickory community as well?
Yeah, so this event is actually being hosted by the South Atlantic Conference. So I think it's a really great support coming from our conference office saying, this matters, we support our student athletes and staff, and understanding that we have their support has been really impactful. And so we chose to build onto this for our student athletes. So I think just seeing from their perspective that not only their school cares about them, but their conference cares about them too.
And for you, Katrina, this is obviously a very important event here at LR. What does it mean for you to really be leading this and being the voice behind such a powerful message?
It's really fulfilling for me, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. Just hearing from our student athletes what their needs are and then pouring into them and creating the best environment possible. I really think that if we focus on our student athletes as humans first, that they're going to have the best possible experience and be the most successful that they can be.
That sounds awesome. Katrina, thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Hello and welcome back to Bears Talk, presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are now joined alongside by the men's and women's triathlon coach and Harley Mason. Thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk. Let's recap 2023 a bit, and we're going to start with the ETSU Aquathon, where your team got off to a first place finish. As a coach, how great was it to see your team get off to the ideal start?
It was awesome, and for us, it really was kind of more of a team bonding fun event. It was an aquathon instead of a full triathlon, and we were only 2 weeks into the season. So it was really meant to just kind of shake out the nerves for the season. So also leaving with a win was just absolutely perfect. We went to have fun, we had fun. It was just an awesome Friday night, and we were able to bond. So we got everything we were looking for from it.
Great start to the season, and then last weekend you head up to Beaver Creek up in Pennsylvania, a third place finish, but also the first competition this year where you have the swim, the bike, and the running all tied into it. What were your takeaways from that past event?
Yeah, well, it was a great race. We were kind of looking for, it was an important race for us. Our qualifying into regionals and nationals is a little bit different this year. So we were really going for some high individual rankings rather than a high team ranking. And I think we came away with that. We scored for a third place, and we had two of our top athletes didn't score in our top 5 due to a flat, and one of them wasn't able to start. So although a third place obviously doesn't look as ideal as a first place, we got exactly what we were looking for. We saw some really strong performances, both individually and as a team. And we were able to kind of feel out a little bit what the other teams have to offer this season, and it's looking really good for us.
For those that may not be fully aware behind the women's triathlon schedule, it's a really short window, only 5 events over a span of 3 months. For a coach with a schedule like that, how does that benefit your team, but also impose some challenges to your squad?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit crazy. We start pretty intense pretty quickly. Benefits for us is we have such strong athletes and they love the sport, so they all stay really fit over the summer. So they fortunately come into the season in good shape. So we're ready to get a first place at ETSU and do really well here in Beaver Creek. It's definitely challenging though, because we have to, train really hard right from the get-go, when we're also trying to incorporate our new freshmen and have some team bonding as well. So there's definitely some challenges with it, but our athletes are so strong and so dedicated that I feel like they just run with it and do really well from it.
We can never really talk enough about the 2022 National Championship performance. With this year round though, you have a lot of veteran talent returning. How does that change maybe an approach this year to 2023, knowing that your athletes, student athletes, were able to get the job done last year? Is there any changes you've really taken? Is it that find that next push to go back to back?
Yes and no. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So we're not making a ton of changes. Since I wasn't around last summer, there wasn't as much, they didn't really know what to expect, so it was a little bit harder starting. This year, I feel like we've started better. We did the ETSU Aquathon last year as well, so we can compare times really well, and they're all leaps and bounds faster last year than they were at the same time. Sorry, this year than they were last year. So we've definitely done a little bit, or they have done more off-season training, so we're coming into the season stronger, but we're really not changing up a lot. Probably the biggest change we have that's going to affect us is we've added a men's team. So they have some strong guys to train with as well that's really helping them in the water and on the bikes especially. So that will just naturally help get the girls a little bit stronger. But yeah, other than that, we're trying to just do what we did last year. My philosophy last year, the same as this year, is team over talent, really. So making sure they keep on racing for each other, not against each other, not creating too much internal competition, so everybody is supporting each other and being the best teammates possible, I think is what's going to get them to race best possible. And another big focus we had last year was being healthy on the start line. And that's going to be a huge emphasis again this year. So we're just making sure there are no injuries, no sicknesses, and that everybody's just ready for the big races.
Sabrina Flay has had a great start to 2023, and really with 2 top 10 performances, 2nd place in ETSU and then 8th place individually last week up at Beaver Creek. What did the sophomore use over the summer that really has helped her jump out to such great success?
Yeah, she was strong last year. She just had an awesome summer. She did some pretty big races over the summer, placed really well in some of the Bundesliga races in Germany. So she just asked if I could continue to help her with her training over the summer. So we worked pretty closely together on that, and she just crushed it. Took a good couple of weeks of rest before coming back, and she's back stronger than ever. She was actually sick last weekend and still just had a very incredible, impressive race. So I can't wait to see what she has in store for this season.
And that's exciting right there to see one of your top athletes overcome such adversity. For you, it is your 2nd year now here in Hickory. It's hard to believe because year 1 you get a national championship, and now you've been over here for just a year now. But what does your short time at Hickory mean for you?
I love it here. I came from Newberry, South Carolina, so it wasn't too far away, but that's really far away from where I've lived other places, so it's very different here. But yeah, I love it, and over the last especially 6 months, I've gotten to know the community a little bit better. I have a family, I have a young daughter that's really integrated well in the community here. So for me, just having that support from the community and from the school has been massive, and it's been helpful in a national title, obviously, and will be helpful going into the 2023 season as well.
And lastly, it's unfortunate you guys don't compete in the greater Hickory area this year, or even in the state of North Carolina. Some very far trips. Obviously, we talk about Pennsylvania. You have a couple of meets coming up in Virginia. But in what ways can the Lenoir-Rhyne faithful interact and help support your excelling program?
Yeah, so we always have a live stream for our races, and I think we have one of the better live streams because the races are pretty remote and they're hard to get to. Follow us on Instagram, watch our live streams, send the support to the girls and guys racing. They really appreciate it. If you're into cycling, there's a great cycling community in Hickory. We're going to do some events with them. So we would love to just have as many people join in as possible and just connect with us.
Awesome. Can't wait to check that out when you guys go to the Giant Acorn event up in Lake Anna, Virginia in a couple weeks' time. Coach,
Yep.
Thank you so much
Thanks for
joining
having
us
me.
on Bears Talk.
Thank you.